Good afternoon, YouTube. This is man on George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, we're in the middle of the week. It's over the hump day. Over the hump. You know how it is when you start out the week and then you say, "Oh my God, just a couple more days to the weekend." And, But as you know, this is the first full week of September, and can you believe it, folks? I said again, we're almost 3 months and 3 weeks away from a new year. It just seemed like I'm like thinking to myself, when, I used to remember seeing like Christmas took forever and birthdays seemed like they came every 10 years, but now it seems like Christmas is around the corner and birthdays every 10 seconds. But anyway, folks, this is my second interview for this month. And I'm interviewing a lovely lady. She is from the other side of the world. She's actually where she's at. She's sitting between Great Britain and France. So, she's in a little, small little, as we call it, as we say earlier, a little mutt island. So,
mutt island.
But as you know me, I'm always going to be my man. I'm a international player from the Himalayas. She's a fine little honey. She got a kitty little voice. Well, we have here the lovely Miss Holly McVittie, if I got her name right.
You did.
Yeah, thank you. I have to practice sometimes. It takes right. So, Miss McVittie is in her division. She competes in the PCA, which is another division that's outside of here in the States. It's a division now. We were talking. It's growing. It's coming here to the States. And it's not as well known as most people, but she's been a while for it. She competes in figure, or also do physique too.
I did, yeah. It's interesting because in the UK, which is where I normally compete, because Jersey's really small, we have a PCA show as a qualifier. But in the UK, there's a federation called Two Bro Pro, and that's the gateway into the IFBB. That's the only way you would get into the USA IFBB, through Two Bro Pro. So I did women's physique in Two Bro Pro. In 2020 and 2021, I did the first ever Arnold's UK, which was in 2021. But actually, I'm really fond of the PCA, the Physical Culture Association. They're already in America. They're worldwide, actually. And what's really cool about them is they don't actually have women's physique. They have 3 types of figure and 3 types of bikini. So they have like toned, athletic, and trained. So 3 different muscular varieties. So trained figure is like women's physique. And each of the figure classes have a routine to music, which is really cool. So you get to look like a figure girl, but get to do your posing routine to music, which is really nice, and get to wear your heels if you like that part of thing. But you can have a lot of muscle as well. So, yeah, that's what I do.
Well, that's pretty cool because you know what? I remember the Two Bro Pros, because a while back there was a little controversy because there was an issue because they originally had I know a lady who did an interview a while back, and a couple of ladies did interviews a while back, competed at the last Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic last year. I know Ann Moon earned her. She was already qualified for Olympia, but she she already was already qualified for the Olympia, but she won anyway. Ann Moon is an amazing woman from France, and the lady who I interviewed a while back was Barbara Marjan. She competed at the show too, and Jody Lyons. So anyway, folks, we're going to ask this lovely lady and tell her story how she get into this sport of muscle and masculinity. So, what got you started into your bodybuilding?
Well, I've always been sporty. I used to ride race horses for a living, and I started going to the gym now and again in 2015, and having had a really athletic job, because racehorses is, very athletic. And I went to my first bodybuilding competition in 2015 to watch, and I was really amazed. I didn't like the bikini class because those girls were really small, but I loved the muscly girls, the big, strong girls. And I thought, there's no way that I would ever be able to look like them or be like them. But then in 2016, so I just went away and just thought that was cool. And then 2016, I started in the gym regularly with a trainer over here in Jersey. And then in 2017, I did my first competition, which was here in Jersey. It was the Jersey show with the PCA. And I got through to the British finals, which was the next year. and came third at the British finals, and then went on to more and more things and competing in more and more things. And each year, as I developed my body, the muscularity came more and more through. And it was a really cool journey, actually, because of the people that I met along the way. So I'm really fond of America. I've got a lot of contacts out there. I was saying to you before we went live, the heroes that I used to have on my wall, because I love women's bodybuilding like you. Linda Murray is one of my heroes. Sheila Blake, one of my big heroes. And I used to have Sheila Blake on my wall because I consider her to be the top poser of all time. Her posing is really beautiful. And my first trainer over here, Richard, introduced me to these women because he was a big fan of women's bodybuilding too. And I think I started working with Sheila in 2020 as a choreography coach for my routine to music. And we became friends, and she actually took me through some training sessions in a private gym as well on Zoom because the time difference. And we're now friends. Like, I worked with her last week. I'm working with her this Saturday as well. We're really creative. What drew me to bodybuilding, apart from the muscularity, was the classic posing routines to music. I find that like special. You know, I'm thinking Shawn Ray, the Mariah Carey song, a lot of Sheila Blake's routines, Linda Murray's routines. They were really clever and beautiful. And it's just gone on from there. One of my coaches for a couple of years was Dave Palumbo. You probably heard of him in the States.
Yeah, Jumbo Dave Palumbo.
Jumbo Palumbo. Yeah, and so that took me further into introducing me to different people in America. I got great friends with Danny Reardon. I mentioned to you, I think she was actually second at the Olympia for women's physique. So that's one down, obviously, from women's bodybuilding. And we became great friends. And when I started up my business in 2020 as a personal trainer, that opened up lots of doorways as well, because my business coach was American. So then I got to know other bodybuilders like Danielle Riley. She's a women's bodybuilder. So my passion for the sport is huge, and the characters in it. And I'm proud to have been the first to compete in the first ever Arnold's UK. That was amazing. And I competed in October last year and got through to the British finals. That was my best look. That was my most muscular and my leanest look. So I'm taking an off season now for a year, and then I'll be competing at the back end of next year with a lot more muscle. That's always been the hardest thing. It takes so long to add good quality muscle.
Yeah, that's the tough part about, being a bodybuilder, is it's about the process. I remember when I was talking to one lady, like, it's not about trusting the process, but also understanding the process. Sometimes it's not easy. Like, one of the greatest bodybuilders of all time, Mr. Roddy Coleman, 8-time Mr. B, said, like, everybody wants to be a bodybuilder, but no one wants to lift the heaviest weight.
Yes.
But it's tough. I mean, and people got to understand the fact about the sport is that you have to be consistent. It's like one thing about bodybuilding always going to get this finger pointed is about the use of steroids. But the fact is, steroids is part of recovery. It's not the big be all. Like here in the States,
it's able to lift heavier and recover from it. Yeah,
but here in the States, there's more steroid use in like mainstream sports, or even steroids is in birth control. Everything from when for if you have the breath, it's just everything. It's in everything just about. But it doesn't make you a better person, a better athlete. You still have to work and train. People like this. I know you heard of Barry Bonds. I was talking to one lady who we were talking about him. He's a baseball player from back in the day. He set the record, beat Hank Aaron's record. They always say he was on steroids. Yeah. But he had to hit the ball and have to hit it that many times to get it out of the big home runs. Steroids, if it's anything, it just helped him because he was getting older. Helped him just survive. We have some people coming through here. We have Matthew Brock. Is it Brock? Looks like.
Hi Matthew. He's my training partner.
He get the little muscle sign. He says.
Yeah.
Also says Holly is a massive inspiration. Well, thank you, Matthew. Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate that, brother. Lynn says, hi, Holly and George. How you doing, Lynn? If you got your name right, Lynn, it's an H, it's a lich, But it's good that it's good that people here support you. You got your friends here, and people like Dave Palumbo, Sheila Blake. Big fan of Sheila Blake back in the day. I think she had just one of those great classic physiques. Like I purchased like something like early field bodybuilders like Angela Langer or Juliet Bergman. We can pull up she just mentioned Sheila, and I, just started to, pull up for a bit, and talk about it. And a while back, Sheila had a situation where she had some surgery because
correct.
she had.
Can you believe she was doing? Because me and her were doing headstands last week for my routine, and she's doing a headstand just a few months after a new hip. She's had a new hip, and she is testimony to why you want to be in great shape and keep fit and well, because she has recovered. And she's still probably about 10% body fat. She is incredible. She is incredible. That is inspiration right there.
Yeah, and her sister Sherry, their birthday's coming up in November, because I'm also a Scorpio. I was born in November, and can you believe she's in her late 40s? You wouldn't think it. She's she's like I said, top Olympia competitor. Second runner up at the Rise of Phoenix twice during her career. She took a step back in 2019 and went to the physique for a minute, and then after that she retired. But I'm a fan of Sheila Blake. I think she had a great physique. One of the great, just classic lines. I think someone that I don't know if she would like be compared to this. The person right now who closely resemble her in a way in the women's division, I would have to say is Sarah Vilgas, because you're so Sarah
Villegas.
Yeah.
Well, yes, but actually, I think Sheila's physique is more beautiful, more beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, I know what you mean, like that hard, grainy conditioning, which both of them had. But I think what makes Sheila really stand out is if you watch her posing routines, and she used to actually use her friends' original music without lyrics, which used to really stick out to me. And just because she's so gymnastic as well, her routines are just effortless. And I think one of the big things now in bodybuilding is a lot of the routines are going like really dancey, and actually you got to keep that the classic lines. That's what makes it's an art. And I explain that all the time when people say, oh, isn't it a sexual thing, like you're showing so much of your body and your skin? I'm like, it's an art.
I just had that same discussion with a young lady who just got a pro card last year, a lovely Miss Nicole Sanchez. We talked about how the aspects of bodybuilding it's an art, but yet, as we know, as us fans and as Smos, we do find it sexual. Just the look of the leanness of your bodies, the way you move, the muscle like that. I remember Janine Lukowski talked about this, how she has some clients who do posing, and they want to have certain songs, be a little cursing and stuff like that. She said, find something more classical, something you can move better with. I've seen some women dance to some stuff and they kind of stiff. You can't just just throw on best person say R. Kelly, and then try to and move like you're Herman Monster from the Monsters. You have to we put on some music. Put up music that you can move to. I mean, I'm not much of a dancer. Me and my bigger brother, my older brother James, we were big dudes. We had the big man dance. We just move our shoulders. That's all we can do. We just move our shoulders. That's the big man dance.
Yeah.
So we have here, this is from Matthew again. He says, Matthew, read this comment. All right. He says, how old do you think Holly is? I never see Matthew. I'm a Southern gentleman, and we never ask the lady's age. That's not how we do it.
I don't mind telling you, I'm 40 years old.
Well, man, you're still young compared to me because I'm almost 50. So,
Oh, well, you don't look almost 50.
Well, here's the thing is, I never had kids. I don't have no woman, and and that we don't have the responsibility of family. Just have yourself. Other than my mother who I took care of. I got guys who I went to school with. I run up to and say, "Dang, why you look like he's much older than me?" But I am getting the gray. You see the gray here in the beard, getting the hair.
No, I can't see it. I think you look like 30 at the most.
Well, thank you. I feel like I'm 60 some days. I got two bad knees. I Stone Cold Steve Austin. Sometimes you get in the morning. I used to work a lot. I used to hold out 2 jobs from the time I was 16 years old. I said earlier, my family used to work. I did we share crop. I did that a couple of years when I was younger. And then I had a job at a gas station. I worked at a gas station. So at 16 till I was 30, that gas station closed down. At the same time, I was working in textile. I did that for 13 years. I worked with women all day. Went to school for a little bit, had a lot of other jobs, and then had a little side job of like 5 or 6 years. I used to work at as we call here in the States, a gentleman club, but in the hood we call it a booty club. And after I got sick because I had heart issues, and I have a pacemaker now. I had it for almost 10 years, but then when I got sick, it was my mom got sick a little bit after that, and I had to take care of her. And I said, what, that was my woman. My mom was my woman, and you know what, it was my job to take care of it. It's old movie called Psycho, where the guy says a boy's best friend is his mother. So here is from Lynn saying, she says, Sheila is amazing. When I compare how quickly she got through to people I know here in Jersey, it's outstanding. Yeah, I mean, she's recovering really well. Shout out to Sheila Blake. Big fan of her. I said again, doesn't Holly look like she amazing for 40? Yes, I would say she was like 20.
Oh God.
That thing is
thank you.
You're welcome. I would say this is the thing about the bodybuilding lifestyle, especially the health fitness lifestyle. There was just a show last weekend, which was the World Masters World Championship, which is like a and there's women like they're competing in 40 and 50s and look like a couple ladies I did interviews with was in that show. One lady I became a good friend, Mary Ann Chesky, was Mary Ann's almost 60, and she was like she maybe in her 40s. There's one lady named Miss Robin.
And I think Michelle Brent was in it as well. I think she's one of Dave Palumbo's clients.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Dave, you know back in the day because she is one of the. This is truth about her. She is one of the last of the true female bodybuilders. There's not that many ladies who most of the ladies in the sport now either came up from maybe bikini, from figure, to physique, and to bodybuilding. Back then there wasn't too many divisions. When bodybuilding started, it's almost like early bikini. Then there was kind of like almost like figure, and then once they kicked the high heels off, sport evolved. And Michelle,
well, I love the big classes, by the way. So just to point out, a big part of bodybuilding is genetics.
Mm-hmm.
Drugs you can bring in or out, but genetics are like anything hugely important. That's what we've learned. We know it's true. So if you don't have good muscle building genetics, which I don't, you have to work really hard and it takes time. So some of my favorite competitors, because I'm a real big I do like the fitness division as well, just because I love the routines. And do you know Missy Truscott?
Oh yeah, I know Missy. Well, I talked about her quite a few times on my channel. Other day, me and one of my live spots, we did a thing where we talked about how this is a picture of her where I have Missy. Yeah, this is where I'm saying. Yeah.
No, you go.
If you look at, go ahead. What say?
No, you go. You speak. I'm listening.
Yeah, okay. Like I'm talking about how she's evolved in the last few years. She's been a Miss Olympia champion. And I did a conversation with my friend KL the Wanderer. He also does content about bodybuilding. We talked about how maybe if she could, I know she says she won't, but she could almost be the level of maybe figure or even physique. But I know she trains differently. She's more about, but if you, like I said, this is why I see there's just the comparisons are just so close where the divisions have gotten to the point where you just can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
Between the two divisions.
And you know what? And do you know what else? I think she's got better delts than Sarah Villegas already. You can see it in that picture. But I forget what I was going to say about Missy. What were we talking about before? And it made me think of her. We were talking about.
I think you talk about how genetics.
Oh, okay. Well, so Missy she's got great genetics, but she has been training in this sport now, I think, for 11 or 12 years. So, and all this time improving. It takes time. That's what I love about bodybuilding. It's taught me incredible discipline and patience. People think Danny Reardon, it took her, I think, 20 competitions to get her pro card. And you can't just, it doesn't happen overnight. You have to do lots of bulks and cuts to get this. I've got comparison pictures on my Instagram of when I started my first show in 2017 and my most recent show in 2023. And the difference between my body just in those 5 years is a huge difference in terms of in your first year, you can't even if you diet the best you can, the conditioning that you achieve, you haven't got the musculature there yet to really look as good as you can 5 years on. So then look 10 years on. A lot of these people have been training and been doing this a long time. And so I think that's really important to highlight because a lot of people watching this, they want a perfect body overnight. But what I love about bodybuilding is that you have to earn it, that it doesn't happen overnight. And it is it's the tortoise and the hare, the slow people that keep going. I had a lot of people that started at the same time as me in 2016 that had way better genetics than me. And they were maybe quite blasé about that. And they just didn't make any effort, and they've just fallen away. Whereas people like me who didn't have good genetics have just kept working, slowly working, improving, and are in a better position now. So I like the fact that bodybuilding gives you the opportunity, even though if someone with great genetics and works hard, they're going to be champions, yes. But if you work hard, you've got a chance to get up there. And yeah, that was something that I just wanted to highlight, because when you look at Missy now and stuff like that, it's easy to forget the amount of years that she's been training and working hard to get to this position that she's in. She never gave up.
Yeah, it's kind of remind me of one of my favorite Japanese animes, Naruto, where Rock Lee tells Naruto how hard work can beat natural talent. Yeah. And if you know Rock Lee, he doesn't have no genjutsu or ninjutsu. He just has basically taijutsu. But he can be someone like Sasuke, who is a natural talent, being that he's a Uchiha, he has his Sharingan, or Naruto, who's kind of like both a natural talent, but also hard work, being that he's the son of the fourth, and he has the nine-tailed fox. I used to like to watch a lot of Japanese anime. So at my old job, I used to come home about 2 or 3 o'clock, and I'm not really sleepy. Yes, I'm watching Japanese anime to time for me to go to bed. But yeah. Like one person
I know about Japanese anime is Takeshi's Castle. I've been watching that. Do you know Takeshi's Castle?
No, I don't watch much of it.
Oh my goodness, it's this Japanese game show, and they have to fight and do games to get into the castle, and they actually have someone in it called Sasuke, so that must be a Japanese word. But
yeah, it's a popular name because the Uchiha clan Sasuke. But yeah, I don't watch much like I used to. I used to watch like Naruto and used to watch a little bit of One. I didn't really watch One Punch Man. I've had a couple of times. I liked Bleach and stuff like that, but I don't watch much like you said. I'm on the computer. I don't really watch that much. We got here my man Rolando G. He says, hello, Holly McVittie. This is Rolando here, fan of the female muscle myself. Your personality is great. I sincerely like women more from England. Well, actually not from England per se, but she's right there close to it.
I was born in England, but I've been in Jersey for 20 years.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
We're basically English, so it's fine.
Well, I'm like this. I'm from North Carolina. Growing up, people always ask me, "Where you from?" Because you sound like from Chicago, New York, or that. Sometimes I used to people say, "Oh," I used to joke like, "Say, oh well, my parents were together for like 55 years. My father lived in Jersey and we were down here." I used to have people say, "Well, actually, I was born in Jersey, New Jersey, and we moved down here after my parents separated." And I said, "No, I was born in Lumberton. That's right here. That's that county seat in North Carolina, right here in Rowland, Robertson County. That's a county seat. I was born right here, but because my mother had to take care of 6 kids, counting myself, that's 6, and then my oldest sister, my mom had to work. She had to watch me because everybody else was either in school or working. I was like second to last, and sometimes she had to make me sit in the chair and watch public access television. Like I watched the British shows like Doctor Who and The Goodies and stuff like that when I was coming up.
Okay.
I'm a favorite Doctor Who got it. Yeah, I just sound like I am. My favorite Doctor Who is between David Tennant and Tom Baker. I grew up watching Tom Baker, but I like David Tennant. The last couple of doctors, they made Doctor Who a woman. No, it's just cat.
No, yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
I mean, it could have made a black dude. I would with that, but whatever. But anyway, this is from Rolando. He says, "Hey there, George, just dropping by." Yeah, just saw that. Oh, what are you about to say?
Well, I was gonna say, because where I was going is, I love muscle. That's why I got into this. There are a lot of girls that want to compete in bodybuilding in bikini because they like the glamour and they like to be just small. And actually, as a personal trainer, because I work with people online and in person, athletes, normal lifestyle, and everybody always says, "Well, I don't want to look like you. I don't want to end up too muscly." And right now, I guess I look a little soft because I'm off season. I'm adding muscle right now, but I'm really hard when I'm in condition. And I always say, well, don't worry, you probably never will. It's really hard to add this much muscle. But I have no problem with that because I see muscle as really beautiful. But that's a really difficult concept. And a lot of men are really intimidated by that. So it's always refreshing to speak with men that are not. And it doesn't make, I'm not a lesbian. I just really like muscle. I like strong. I like to actually be able to train in the gym. Like my training partners have always been guys. The guy that I'm training with now can see like we're lifting similar when we're doing chest press and stuff, because I like lifting muscle, a bit like Iris Kyle. I'm not too interested. I've looked at the road of like OnlyFans and muscle worship and all of that stuff, but actually I do this for myself to build muscle, and I do this to compete. So all the reason that I train in bodybuilding is because I love competing in bodybuilding. I don't know whether I would train this hard if I didn't have competitions, because I love performing. I love show day. I love being amongst other competitors. I love the tanning, the bikinis that we get to choose, the posing routines, all that goes into it. And let me tell you, the dieting is no joke. Like you're going to find out about yourself when you have to diet for 5 months for a competition. I was on 800 calories for a long time coming into my show to get the kind of grainy conditioning. And I am an unpleasant person to be around when I'm eating that little food, and you've got to concentrate. I'm trying to run a business, take care of my clients, be in great shape. I was getting up at 3 a.m. to do 2 hours cardio before my first client at 6 a.m. And then I was training weights at night, so I was getting very little sleep. But these are the things that you do if you are dedicated to a purpose, you know. And I just wanted to talk about that maybe.
Yeah, that's the thing about this, that doing the sport, it's not easy. You know, also you have to make a lot of sacrifices. One thing is bodybuilding is, some people see it as a hobby sport. There's not a lot of money in it compared to like, you know, like over there in UK, soccer is very popular. You know, these other sports are kind of growing over there. You know, it's just, it's not as a lucrative job. That's why a lot of the ladies who I know, who I follow, they do the OnlyFans, they do the moisture worship because it's a way to make money, but because they love the sport. Yeah. I just saw one lady who she's from the UK, just got her Olympia qualification just about a few months ago.
What's her name?
I think Roma Shasti.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Romana. Yeah, Romana. I know her. Oh, she's amazing. She has long red hair.
Yeah. She just.
Yeah, I love her. I mean, because one of my the guy that does my massage, he was at the powerlifting championships, and she was there because she works for a blood results company as well. She does blood testing stuff, Romana, her and her partner. So yeah, I know who you mean.
Yeah, I know. A while back, her dog had put the dog to sleep, and that was, you know, and she's just doing the GoFundMe because it's a way to, you know, make a little, you know, give a little stuff, because, you know, every little help doesn't hurt. Get a little help. And, you know, and as I call them, we call them the Beat the Meat websites. That's what they are. Because the truth is, hey, guys don't come on there just to be looking. We're doing it like, oh well, somebody not in here, okay. And you grab the lotion and you grab the napkins, and hey, you know, it's just that it's very arousing when you, especially like you said, you like the tanning. I have heard stories about that. No, not to me like the tanning, you know. But like I said, the cost of traveling to the shows, the cost of your suits, the cost of eating, everything, your coach, your trainer, it's just so much. But, you know, if you love this sport, you love what you do what you can do. But like I said, I can't fault anybody trying to find a way to make a living for yourself. Oh, we got here, my man. You gotta be careful. This dude here, this is my man. Balls deep. Yeah, that's his name. Yeah, his name. He says, smack that like button. Thank you. Balls deep. Thank you. Shout out to. Also says, peace and blessing, beautiful. He loves you. You know, he comes in here. Yeah. And, you know, like I said, if that's not for you, you know, it's not for you, you know. But the thing is, like I said, if this was a sport where you're still in a way amateur in your.
I am an amateur. Yeah, I don't have my pro card yet. I really, that's important to me. Sheila is so lovely because Sheila works with lots of people, and she was saying to me the other day that her clients thought I was a pro, it means a lot. I think because I would say that my routines are pro level, but my muscularity is not quite there yet. It's not bad, but it's not quite there yet, which is why I'm taking a full year to actually grow. And I think that's really important. Actually, a lot of competitors are too afraid to take a year away from the sport to actually add some muscle. Don't be afraid to do that, because if you're spending half your year dieting, you're never really giving yourself the time to have a proper off season. And it is worth it, because when I hope that I do get my pro card, I want to actually be able to go and compete at a pro standard. So nowadays, I think they give out pro cards very easily in many of the different federations, most particularly the NPC.
NPC.
And then you're in a whole big pond, because maybe you won your pro card really easily, but now you're going to be against pro standard competitors. So, you need to be of that standard yourself. So I think it's really important just to know that it's worth putting in the effort and the time in the game, so that when you do get your pro card, you can actually look like a pro and represent the sport like a pro, which I think is important. Being able to do interviews like this, answer questions, promote the sport in the right way. It's about strength. It's about training with good form. It's like there's a whole history of bodybuilding, of characters, how it began, the weeders, and all of the people that have made it special. Like, that's why I love listening to a lot of the interviews that Dave Palumbo does with people that have been in this sport for a really long time, like Chris Aceto, a very knowledgeable coach. He's been doing this since he was a teenager, working with stars, and understanding that the body is more art than science. So when you're prepping a person for competition, it's not just black and white. You have to learn that the body can change every day, every hour. The lower the body fat, women react very differently to guys. Not every person can train the same. Not every person can recover the same. So you learn so much about your body and health when you're involved in this sport, and it is a big deal. I think it's important, and it's worth the investment. Look at Sheila getting a new hip and bouncing back because she's so healthy from putting all the years into her sport and investing in. She's the one who got one of the healthiest diets you'll ever see, Sheila. She's like really low carb, really healthy.
Well, that's good. Well, we're going to jump into, because she also is on YouTube. She has a YouTube channel. And we're going to jump into a little video I found. I was looking through it, and this is one of the year when you were competing at the Two Bros. Okay. And I think it's like we kind of cut into one part where I think a lot of people love to do, that is eat. So we're cutting in right here.
Oh. Yeah. Oh God. That was the night before. I was on Dave's diet, so it was keto. So I was like, man, I'm so hungry.
Yeah, Dave, he put you on a day. So we're gonna probably hear
the moment I have been waiting for. Amy's downstairs ordering food from the hotel, but my McDonald's arrived from just eat. So I'm gonna do what it says. I feel like it's so good, and I really need to fill out. So this is only gonna do me. Don't want any little pickles to fall out. Some pickles fell out. The man delivered it in the pouring rain for me. Got it on a little box. Ready.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was the night before. I was so depleted, man.
Yeah, I know. One thing is food can be a weapon, both a tool. But when you get it, it takes like you eat French fries, or you get there, is that a Big Mac,
Yeah, I needed a cheeseburger and fries the night before. Yeah.
And this is you have like a amazing. You have, I think, like I said, you're more closer to that to figure, because you're more leaner. You're more.
Well, this was in 2020, so I've actually got a lot more muscle. My most recent competition, I look even much more different from this. In fact, this was the year that I prepared myself in my house, because we didn't have access to gyms. Do you remember all the?
Yeah, because that's what that was the thing that my mother got. That's how she passed away, because she had got the virus, and then she was in the hospital for about barely a month, and then it wasn't long because she was already dealing with stuff she has, and it was awful. I know a lot of people going through, especially as bodybuilders, the gym for you is like your church, your therapy, and to not have that, and I know some people, what they did was they bought some equipment. Some who have private gyms, you have a capacity of so many people, they were able to find a gym, or sometimes some people like sneak them in late at night when there's not too many people around, and you can work out, Yeah.
Well, I got access to a private gym in 21, but in 2020, that body. Oh, this was Danny Reardon giving me she was giving me her blessing, which I'm in a lot. Number 2 at the Olympia, Danny Reardon.
gosh, only a couple hours left.
She was wishing me luck.
You have had the
That's
most
nice.
wonderful
It's good to have
Yeah.
someone like her, Sheila, and Dave, people like that supporting you. And never met these people, but you have connections to them.
And manifesting and meditating.
Yeah. Well, Danny and I are great friends actually, and our friendship is super close. She used to be sponsored by Redcon One actually.
Yeah, Redcon is just one of the bigger companies that promotes. Also they do supplements and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's right. Kai Green is a sponsored athlete of theirs now. He's another big hero of mine.
Yeah, Kai Green. Well, you know the story about Kai Green and grapefruit, don't you?
Well, yes, I do. I don't know if all the watchers would know all about. But you said, he had to do, the things that he had to do to make his money. I love Dave. Interviewed him before he got famous. Do you remember the documentary videos that Dave went to his house where he lived? Kai had no car. The electricity was cut off. Like no phone. Did you ever see that?
No, I didn't miss that.
This was before. It'll be on Dave Palumbo's page, but it was before Kai got famous, and he used to have to travel for like 3 hours to get to the gym. He was like living in just this really crappy apartment that was like pee in the elevator going up, and then his life took off after that. But it's incredible because it was like a proper Rocky style kind of thing, because he was always this brilliant artist. He always believed, and I think if you can keep strong up here, which is how I managed to compete in 2020, just competing here in my lounge. I didn't have any equipment or anything, and when all of us that competed in 2020, the shows kept canceling, you had to keep the diet going. If you can keep this strong, the rest will come. Bodybuilding should be called mind building, really, because that's the truth of it. You have to be really mentally strong.
Yeah, it's like for Men in Black, the mind might be willing, but if the body's not go along with it, or like if the mind doesn't go along with it, the body can't be willing. He dated. I remember Kai dated a lady I was a big fan of back in the day, a female body by the name of Deanna Kudo, and beautiful lady. She was from Canada. Originally, she was born in, I think it was Jamaica, but she was from Canada. She lived in Canada. Pretty as eyes, great physique. She's kind of changed now from the last time I see her, because she has done some stuff cosmetically to herself. I think she was beautiful before, but I understand that. The one thing about finding yourself as a competitor, and it's one thing. It's tough for these ladies in the sport, especially as you people don't understand what you ladies do. I mean, especially like your family. Like, what was that like when you tell your father that you're gonna be a bodybuilder? Your mom.
Well, I'm pretty independent. I've been living on my own for 20 years, so that wasn't anything, really. That was no issue for me. I had no one to ask permission of or worry what they would think of me. I really didn't even consider it. I just always do what I want to do, But I suppose for some people that would be difficult, I guess. But I'm not ashamed of it. I don't think there's anything to be ashamed of. I mean, muscularity is fantastic. My body's way more muscular now than even then in 2020, 3 years on. When I competed last year, you can see there's a huge difference in my muscularity already, and I'm really proud of everything I've done. There's no shame connected to it for me. It's an art form, and that's how I see that I'm conducting myself in my life, and I've got no regrets because it's given me such discipline. I never could have imagined. I never used to know anything about food. I didn't understand about carbs, proteins, fats, calories. I didn't understand anything. Even now, I'm learning every day from amazing people that aren't even with us anymore, like John Meadows, my favorite, and Mountain Dog, and learning about training intensity. I'm reading a book right now by Dr. Scott Stevenson. Do you know him?
No.
He was great friends with Mountain Dog, and he's got this brilliant book called Be Your Own Bodybuilding Coach, and it's got everything you could think of in there. And you're learning every day. There's no way to plateau in this sport. And it's why wouldn't you want to improve yourself? What's to be ashamed of? Definitely nothing for me. It's not an issue for me.
That's good as you confidence, because one thing is people, especially the everyday John Q public, you understand that, why they're always going to do this. Is one thing you always say, why you want to be a man? Why you want to be here's the thing is, dude, this is a very attractive woman in front of me. I don't see nothing mannish about her. I mean, there's some women that do get a little, if they, especially if they take too much of certain things,
they take
kind of manage.
The hair can start to recede.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to be really, really careful. And there's no reason to not look beautiful and feminine. Do you know who I think was one of the most beautiful bodies? Shanique Grant. Do you remember her?
Yeah, and then she's 2-time Miss Olympia physique champion. Yeah, as you know, she's coming back. She says she's coming back. She's going to do wellness.
Oh, she is.
Yeah, that's what I heard. You know, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not. It's just this rumors I'm hearing because there was like debate, like people were wondering how did Sarah beat her that year where the tag couldn't touch her. But it's just that the judges were. I don't know what the judges were looking for, but I think she should just.
That's the problem with bodybuilding. It's you are there to be judged for a short time. It's not like a race where there's a clear winner. It's based on people's opinion. So yeah, I like Sarah Villegas. I love what Sarah's done for the sport because she actually puts money back in. What's that show that she sponsored? And she
actually put money for 2 shows. She put money for the Pittsburgh Pro, where Natalia took her money. That show, I think it was like $20,000, and then she sponsored the Texas Pro about 2 or 3 weeks ago, where Ivan Wade took $15,000. She's a rich man's wife. She can afford that. I think she might be. I don't know. I'm hearing one person saying that she might try to get involved. Andrea Shaw, Cindy Gillen, and Whitney Jones are coming together with a thing called the Triple O, and she might be putting money for that in that show too, because it's a new division. Because I know you follow some of the IFB and EPC.
I do.
There's so few shows for women's bodybuilding in the last few years.
I love Wings of Strength. That's what's his name has done so much.
Jake Wood. Let me do this for you. Jake. I want that money. I want that gun. I'm sorry. Every time I say Jake's name, I gotta pull back from Diesel from Training Day. And Ethan Hawke saying Jake. But Jake, hey, Jake. I just want what you got in your pocket, Jake. I know. Hey, just give me what you got in your pocket, Jake. I probably pay my rent and everything for the next month or so. I mean, that's all I want, Jake. But yeah, Wings of Strength, what they're doing. I know this year they dropped the ambassador program. I sorry to see that lose because I know some ladies who did it. They liked it because it was a way to, make a little money for themselves, and also travel a little bit. I got the pleasure of seeing him, Mr. Wood, at the Savannah Pro last year. Him. I got to see Linda, Alina, quite a few other women who I follow. I mean, it was a great opportunity for myself to be there, and go to my first bodybuilding show. We got here a man, Rolando G. He says, Holly, you sound fantastic. You're intelligent on the sport. I hope every other female FBB athletes were as beautiful and very I said the way insightful as you are. Thank you. I'm still some words I don't want. Also, he says, mind over muscle. My man, Balti says Rip to Rich Pina. I think I remember him. Yeah, he passed away somewhere. Also, he says you are sexy and swole as AF.
Does he mean me or you?
I don't know. I don't know. Hey, Balti, I don't roll that way, brother. Nah. I'm a man. It may not be the 80s, but I'm down with the ladies. But nothing wrong with that if you like into that. But also he says, Shanique Grant is on fire. Yeah, I mean, Shanique, she had a great physique, great look to her. I wish she should have just, maybe come back. I know she said she took a step back because she wanted to have kids like that. But then I think the story was her and her boyfriend broke up eventually. And then some people tell me she was working as a cocktail waitress at a strip club. But now she's coming back. But yeah, the thing is about genetics. And one person that I'm a fan of, and she took a step back from bodybuilding and came back and did pretty good, is Andrea Shaw. She's just a beautiful woman. I mean, I saw her do a guest pose at Savannah last year, and I mean, it just, she is just like me. I got a guy he's a good friend of mine. His name is Keith Williams. We do a live stream here called Must Talk Monday. We talk about bodybuilding, and we talk about how this Olympia is. Everybody's talking about, okay, Let's talk about Christina Mendoza. No, she's not going to beat her because Christina's bottom heavy. They're talking about Natalia Kovaleva. Nah, her tits too big. Talking about Angela Yo. Nah, she's still too small. She has great conditioning, but she's still too small. But it's going to be like Andrea and everybody else because she came in, and just, I mean, she just really, changed the sport. She really brought, something, just to it. I'm a big fan of her. I mean, I got a partner, my old partner, my last week, he met her a while back, and it's just, she's an amazing woman to me. I mean,
I think she did some posing with Sheila Blake, I got it feeling. Do you have some pictures of Andrea Shaw?
Oh, let me see. Pull up on her. Let me jump into her IG real quick. She goes by Miss Pretty Muscles, and she is pretty. And she just recently bought an issue of a cover of her. She was on the cover of Muscle Development, which is a popular Canadian bodybuilding magazine, muscle mag. There hadn't been a female bodybuilder on those muscle mags in years. And we're gonna see here. And she just has this great look about her. I mean, like I said, I'm a fan. I would love, like I said, I'd love to one day do an interview with her in the future. I'm just gonna keep on, waiting by my time. We're about to pull it up in a bit. She just has that great look to her. And it's just, instead of getting my man Keith says, it's Andrea and everybody else.
Okay.
Yeah, this is from the Olympia last year.
Yeah.
Her back, her good proportions. I mean, great look to her hair, everything. I mean, she is. I would say like she's really, just a great ambassador for women's bodybuilding. She's been doing it pretty good. I mean, here she is with, it's Tim Gardner. He's one of the biggest promoters in the sport of bodybuilding. Also, you had Natalia Cueto, and also, this is I think this is her early in her career before, this is how she looked like before.
Oh yeah, she's worked hard.
Yeah, she was a figure for a good bit, and she did that for a good while. She took some time off, a few years off after she got her degree. Yeah. And she actually turned pro the same time later that I became confronted with competing in the same show that was the Olympia back in 2018 amateurs. And then she didn't make the route to 2019. And she has really evolved, and people keep talking about, well, somebody's go, nah, I don't think, I don't know. She may not be Iris's record, but she might come close.
Oh yeah, Iris is special.
Yeah, special. There's always people make comments about Iris. I had a guy out here we were doing live from one of my ladies. I was doing an interview. He made the training reference to Iris, saying, "Hey man, I don't like that. I know a lot of ladies they get enough of hearing that. Yeah, it's just not."
What did you say? Sorry.
He said that he made a reference to Iris Kyle as a trainer. I'm not a big Iris Kyle. I support what she did, but you know what? You don't call anybody like that because come on, man, it's disrespectful.
Oh, he called her a tranny. Did you say?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I made a reference to it. It's not.
That's cool, a shame. She's like 10 times Miss Olympia, isn't she?
10 times Miss Olympia. She has more Olympia titles than any man or woman in the history.
Correct.
More than people like. I was talking with the other lady I interviewed last weekend, how we say like, okay, yes, it's for Miss Olympia, but still it's Olympia. It shouldn't matter about male or female. She has the most Olympia wins. That's 10. That's 2 more than Ronnie. It's like there's a old she passed away a long time ago. Her name was Pat Summitt. She used to coach women's college basketball. She's in the NCAA, which is the National College Association of Athletes. She is in the records she was one of the most winningest coach in basketball, NCAA basketball history. But later on, another guy who's a teamer I don't like, he took that record. But it's not about her sex; it's about her accomplishment. And and there is about Iris, she accomplished a lot. I mean, one time she did an interview where she said she was a 7-time Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic. No. I had to correct her. I said, no, you're not Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic winner. You're the Miss International winner. Because as we all know, Arnold did this a long time ago. And this is one of my favorite movies, Batman Begins, when Ra's al Ghul, played by Liam Neeson, said to Christian Bale as Bruce Wayne, says, "Order to get an enemy, walk quietly behind them and stab in the hearts." And Arnold, he did that by pushing out women's bodybuilding, then pushing out physique. and then push it out figure. I said figure. I mean, but then I remember I was watching. It was a video from NPC's online. It was a backstage at the that last year we had figure at the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic. And I'm looking at Missy Trescott and Jessica Diaz-Reyes. I did a comparison video on them once a while back. How even though the different divisions, the physiques are just in a way kind of similar. How you couldn't tell the difference between who was figure and who was fitness, because in your mind you're thinking that looks almost like both of them are physique competitors.
Right. Yeah. Well, I do believe that the divisions are getting bigger. That's one thing. Even in bikini now at IFBB level, they're getting bigger and bigger. So, I mean, for example, like if you brought back Dana Lynn Bailey now, she says so herself, there'd be no way that she would even be able to go in probably at figure. And she used to be she was the first ever physique champion. So, the divisions are getting bigger and bigger. And that's the judges' fault, because it's the judges that depict the athletes how they should come in each year. And if they keep pushing women to be expected to be like really, 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 really big, then women will need to use drugs to do that, because they won't manage to do that all by themselves. So I say go have as big muscle, but still retain some feminine beauty as well at the end of the day, because you are still a female. And that is possible. And I think Shanique did that really well, actually. She did. But like you're saying, Andrea Shaw, she's really beautiful too. So
well, you're not too bad. Look at yourself, because like I said, folks, if you want to follow Holly, her social media stuff is in the description. Check her out. She's also she's a coach and a trainer, so I think you do also online stuff. So interesting, maybe get whip yourself into shape, and you like to get whipped by a beautiful British lady. She's like, but guys, I got a rule. There's no offense to you, Holly. This is what I tell the guys out there: no the pics. Stop it. Don't do that.
Oh,
Willie
okay.
pics. No, you call it Willie.
No, I'm not gonna rate anybody.
No, guys, come on. Because this thing is, this is what like some ladies have confronted with. One time, the lady said to me, like, "Hey George, I want you to post this on your social media. This guy is sending some weird shit to us," and I posted for it. I said, "Okay, because it's funny. They're the same guys be talking shit about y'all, saying you're trying to be a man. What you think you are? You're a dude. You're a trans." But then turn around and they say, "Hey, I think you're cute. I didn't want nobody to think I was weird." You're not weird, dude. You just like a different type of woman. It's just you're different. You maybe not like every other, like some guys like skinny girls, some guys like women who are a little bit more thicker, some guys like women with big boobs. I mean, some guys like women who with big butts. I like big butts myself, but it's about what makes you feel comfortable with, what you like. If people are gonna shame you for that, then that's their problem. Whatever somebody, you shouldn't be bothered with it. But possibly some people don't have much of a life. We have here, this is from Rolando G says, my favorite Irene Anderson was ambassador for Wings of Strength. Adore my Swedish OG of the game. Andrea is the GOAT. I got to meet Irene at Savannah. She was there. And can you believe this woman is she's in her late 50s. You wouldn't think of it if
Well, I think Sheila knows her. I think they competed at the same time,
Yeah, I think they competed. I think they did. She was I think Irene went to Olympia one time, and I think that last year before they kicked out women's bodybuilding, I think also some couple of shows. Most definitely the Tampa Bay Pro was, because I remember Sheila used to live in Tampa. And she wins that show almost every year. Also Baldy says, Linda is the GOAT. Yes, Linda is the GOAT. Also he says Linda Murray is fine. No doubt is down for that. It was over 4 decades, not for about almost just slightly over 30, just almost 30 years ago. But Linda, even though she's 60 now, she still looks great. I saw her when I was in Savannah. She turned around, she smiled at me.
Great. She looks amazing.
Yeah,
and what's really cool? Iris's Hiddy won the at the Masters Olympics.
Yeah,
because I'm pretty sure Iris does a lot of training with him still. I mean, she coached him for quite a few of his competitions. I don't know if she coached him for this one.
I think he did, because I know he was doing an interview with Linda, and he brought her up there to talk, and I think she helped him out. Iris is doing her own thing now, because I know years ago she wanted to be part of when they brought back women's bodybuilding with the Rising Phoenix, but
they wanted her to re-qualify.
That was the bullshit about that.
Stupid. She's 10 times Miss Olympia.
But then you bring in Alina Popa, You know, I know nothing against Alina, but still, Alina didn't qualify for anything. You know, she did come close to, because I think the one thing is, this is why I say this: if the judges wanted the Miss Olympia, they want. If they had, I feel like this: if they had gave the title to Alina, I think women's bodybuilding would have stayed in the Olympia,
right?
Because you would have the Miss Olympia that you wanted. You know, Alina's an attractive woman. I met her face to face. Attractive woman, great muscle. But the judges went with Iris aesthetics. Iris,
Right.
you know, other time when she had that zit on her butt at the Miss International years ago, or the time when she lost to Xenia Keene, she had too many setbacks. You know,
Right.
she's always been dominant. But if you feel like, you know, you wanted someone to represent women's body better, then you should have gave the title to Alina Popa. But the judges went by what they felt was more the aesthetics. But like, folks, we're going to dip into Holly's IG in a bit. And, you know, and she got some good stuff here. Guys, want to check it out?
Well, this is like recently is all of my client stuff, but in around kind of October time, if you scroll down to there, you'll see my most recent show, which was the British Finals. And the PCA is a really, really big federation. So this picture here is showing the start to 2023. So the black bikini was 2017 and the yellow was last year. So there's a big difference in how the body can change. So yeah, the yellow bikini being my most recent show. The body can change a great deal.
You can see the more density in your back compared to the blue suit to the yellow suit.
Absolutely.
And, you know, you can see how much conditioned lean you are here in the red suit to the black suit. I mean, it's like, that's one thing about women. It's about evolving. It's an athlete and how you grow. Who's your coach?
Me now. So I'm finally coaching myself now, which is really cool. In October, it was a local guy called Joe. And this time I'm taking it through to myself. I've done 8 shows now and I know how I come in. So, but lately I've mostly been posting stuff about my clients and less about myself because I'm just growing. But around October time was my most recent show, and all of my footage from there was really, really cool. But I think it's just important to know that, I guess if I was to give any kind of things to leave people thinking about, it's the long game. Bodybuilding, it's not a one-hit wonder. It takes a lot of time and a lot of consistency, like you said at the beginning. You have to learn about your body. You need to be very mentally strong to be able to do the diet and see it through and have the grainy conditioning. You really do have to suffer, and that's really hard. And people think that they can do it, but when you're doing it for like 5 minutes, that's fine. But when you're doing it for 5 months, it's really different. And not to give up, you know, it takes a long time. I think that's just so important. And if you've got big dreams, then you've just got to keep with it and see it through. I never would have imagined that the people that were on my wall as my inspiration would now be my friends, like Sheila Blake and Danny Reardon, Dave Palumbo, people that I, you know, used to read about are now my friends. So things can happen in this world. It's opened a lot of doors for me. And yeah,
that's really, I rarely ever hear, you know, too many people coach themselves. Most times you get a coach because you always need some feedback. You always need somebody like support, you know, because sometimes you can be your own worst enemy, because, you know, there's times you may not want to do something and then you say, you know what, I don't have nobody to only but me, so I can do whatever I want.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly, it's hard. I mean, Lee Priest is a big fan of coaching himself, if you listen to him. But ultimately, I've decided that that's what I want to do. I've got good, honest people around me. If I wanted feedback on my body, they would give that to me. I know how my body needs to look. I know what I have to do to build muscle. I'm actually using a body scanner machine every 3 months to keep a check on my body fat levels and my muscularity. So that's one tool that you guys could use if you want to try it out. And I'm just going to do that. I know myself really well now, so I want to see what I can produce. I coach enough other people. There's no reason why I shouldn't be able to coach myself. You just have to be really honest with yourself. So yeah.
Well, that's good that, you know, you can. It's good that you have your clients that support you and you stand by them. I think this is one of your clients right here.
This was back from 2020, actually. I had a lot of people in lockdown that were looking to get in shape. So yeah, that was Luke back quite a few years ago. And I like to show, like, it's not necessary to get so fat in the off season. And those are mistakes that I've made in the past, putting on way too much fat in the off season and then having to diet really, really hard coming into the show and probably losing a bit of muscularity along the way. So I'm trying not to make that mistake this time.
Yeah. The other thing is it's about trying to find a balance, especially with dealing with a diet. You know, like I said again, food can be both a tool and yet also it can be a weapon. You know, it's tough, especially like, you know, your last show. What was that thing? Because I know you say you like burger and fries. You know, what was the thing that you craved the most when
God. Like when I'm dieting, like always sweet stuff, cake and stuff like that. That's what I really, really love. But when I was being coached by Dave Palumbo for those 2 years, which was 2020 and 21, he has a specific ketogenic diet, a bodybuilding one. And so that's no carbs. So, but he works with a treat meal each week, which is burger and fries because of the fats and salts, and it kind of replenishes your body so you can keep training. So that was his choice to have the burger and fries. That's not my favorite thing. My favorite is definitely sugar, all the stuff that's bad for you. So
yeah, that's the thing is that sugar. I know sugar can also help you black, but sometimes it can deplete you a little bit. You can not look as good. It's like I said, it's about finding that perfect balance. Like a while back, you know, when I was taking my mom, I was almost 500 pounds after she died. And I decided I need to take care of myself. So I cut out a few things. And like one thing is I stopped drinking milk. You know, I used to love milk, but I stopped drinking that. Then I stopped drinking sodas. And then I was working out, but I had a little incident. I said I had to take some time off from the gym. You know, I need to go back. I need to keep, you know, I need to get myself to go back into the gym again, you know. And a while back, my blood sugar was really high. I'm borderline diabetic. But then last weekend, a couple weeks ago, I had to go to my doctor and get some tests, blood work. I got a call saying everything is good. Like my A1C was down to 5.6, where it was like 6.5. Yeah, it's tough. I'm not doing much. I'm just trying to cut back on certain things, but I still like certain things. Like this afternoon, this morning, I had to go out and do run some errands. And then after that, I stopped by. I don't know if you have it around your way, KFC.
Yeah, we have KFC in Jersey. Yeah.
I got myself some fries and chicken strips, and I had that for my lunch, and then later I probably cook some chicken breasts and maybe some vegetables, I might have like a cookie every now and then. I try to drink. I buy the sugarless tea. Or but still buy like a little juice, something with a little flavor to it. Because sometimes you got to find that happy medium. I'm not trying to be a bodybuilder, but I'm trying to be a little healthy. Because like I said, I'm have heart condition. My mom was diabetic. My father had heart conditions. And it represents my family. But I try and take care of myself. And that's what my family telling me when I take care of my mom. George, you take care of yourself. Well, I was focused on my mom. She needed me. But like I said, now I don't have her anymore. It's just me. I'm like old cowboy. My woman gone, so. I don't have my woman anymore, so it's struggle sometimes. I miss my woman, but I know she raised me to be a good man, and I every day. But we have here a man, Lawrence Perkins, coming through. He says, good afternoon, Holly, George, everyone in the chat. Thank you, Lawrence. Also, he says, keep up the great work, Miss Holly. Yeah. Also, the man, Rolando G. Rolando loves you, man, baby. Yes, thank you, Holly McVittie. I like women have muscle and still can hold that attractive femininity that heterosexual men us like.
Okay.
That's very specific, Rolando. Yeah. I mean, yeah. But yeah, this thing about it is like this is about especially about in the women's bodybuilding part. If you break it down to the fan base, is the men are more. There's more patience for men because this is how I say like this. There's guys who are fans of the men, and there's guys who are come side who like and then you have divisions like we talked about earlier, the teenage divisions, that's bikini and wellness. Because they're more. I did interview a lady who is a doctor and a IFBB pro bikini competitor.
Oh, Dr. Sunny Andrews.
No, that's wellness. This is a lady named Dr. Christina. She's a doctor, a real MD, not what Sunny Andrews is what I'm hearing. But she's a great lady. We talked a good bit, but we had a little discussion, and she unfollowed me, and well, who cares? But it's just about. Bikini and those divisions are more aesthetically capable for some women. You just got to train. It's different from women's bodybuilding, and you're training. So you have to stay, get in shape still, but you have to bring that level of muscle. It's just pretty much if you have the same passion and say determination, you can be a bikini competitor. But like I said again, how it's evolving. Well, it's evolving because for those women who had those, my man Bikini said like this, those Afro aesthetics, bigger hips, thicker the thighs. The girls who just couldn't fit bikini,
big
but
muscle belly.
Yeah, but that division was very popular in Brazil, came to the States, and it's blown up the last few years ever since. It's there's more shows for those divisions than it is for women's bodybuilding, physique, even figure. I think the division has less shows. It's fitness, and it's like Missy Trescott. She's on top, but still, I don't know how long that division is gonna last. If they feel like they might just say, let's close it out.
Why do you think that? Why would you think that? I think it's hugely popular. I mean, I love Missy Trescott, but actually Oksana Grishina was my ultimate favorite of all time. And I think I know a lot of people, Dave Palumbo's probably one, that mostly want to watch the Olympia to see the fitness routines. Like they are that captivating.
Well, I interviewed a couple of fitness women. One lady, her name is Mandy Polk. Mandy, where she used to compete in Ivy Bro with fitness, but she does MMA now. She told me how her MMA career paid for her competitive fitness career. Then there's a lady named Anna Famina who she's made a pro debut. She did Chicago and Tampa this year. I don't watch as much. I probably pay attention to it, but I'm more a fan of women's bodybuilding. I would say I've become a fan of physique in the last few years. I've even become a fan of figure. I'm still not too much fan of wellness, but I do pay attention to division. And also, I'm not too fans of bikini. I do pay attention to them, but I don't know all the athletes as well. That's why I had guys say, "Hey, Joe, we can talk about." Well, because I don't know the athletes as well. I can't follow as well.
You know why that probably is? Because in the bigger muscle divisions, it takes so many years to have that muscle that the same women come back year after year, and you get to learn the characters. But in bikini and smaller divisions, once you get past a certain age, you are not going to be competitive anymore in those. They are young women's divisions, and they're very popular, obviously, because the women just need to, it's not as much muscularity. And so I reckon that's why, as a fan, you can get behind a character that you see year after year coming back. That's why people always think of like Lenda Murray and Iris Kyle battling head to head like they did for years. But in bikini, you're maybe going to see those women competitively for just a few years, and then they're done, they're finished. And I think that I just wanted to highlight that because it takes so many years to build the kind of muscle that's required for women's bodybuilding. You're going to see those women coming back year after year, trying to improve and improve and improve, I think that you can afford to be older in those divisions because it takes so many years to get that much muscle.
Yeah, because you hit that muscle. Like I think that some of the best women usually, like good example is Andrea. Andrea's gonna turn 40 in December.
Okay.
And you wouldn't think she was 40. She's in her early 30s. But I think some women start hitting their peak around late 30s, early 40s. And then you do kind of, if you don't stay constant, you do would fall. I know a lady, her name is Melanie Horton. She competed in the 90s. She retired. She came back. Even though she's not as, her development is conditioned as it wasn't the same as she was when she was younger, but she's a woman who's almost 60 and still looks like, we talk about Michelle Brent. We talk about a couple other ladies who I saw at that Masters show like the lady, Miss Robin Mays, who competed at the Masters. And I did interview with her, beautiful lady. Her and Candace Scarrow are like top two in the 40 and 50 plus classes, and they look great. And
but a lot of it also depends on how long they've been training and competing for, because if somebody started training and competing at an older age, they're fresh muscle. They're still got like almost beginner's gains. Like what's that Jamaican guy that's like doing so great now, the boogeyman? What's he called?
He's not Jamaican. I think he's a Nigerian. No, you mean Blessing?
No. That's it, Blessing. Yeah, Nigerian. Like he started properly bodybuilding training like at a later age, so he's really quite fresh muscle. Because I think, isn't he in his like late mid or early 30s?
I don't know. I don't really follow him that well. I know I've seen himself, and he does some great. One time he did a video where he's sitting, talking about being a vegan bodybuilder. He's sitting in a tub full of fruit, and he's eating the fruit. And then he's flashed over another guy, a really skinny guy in the tub. But he probably like that. I mean, you look at people like Big Ramy, who I think he got to be in his 40s. You got like Heidi Chopin, but then you have young guys like Nick Walker. You got guys like Chris Bumstead. Even though he's in their division, he still has a great physique. I mean, I saw a guy who looked like him at Savannah competing in men's classic. He looked kind of Chris Bumstead-ish. But it's about the evolution as an athlete.
But more what I'm trying to say is, if you started heavy training later in life, your body's fresher than someone that's been training heavy since their 20s. So in terms of peaking, it's not just about how old you are, it's how long you've been training. Because if you've been training really hard for like 20 years, you're going to have injuries and you're not going to look fresh. But if you started bodybuilding heavy training like in your early mid 30s, you could be peaking and still look really good and fresh. I think Sean Roden was a bit like that. So it isn't all about how old you are, it's what you've put your body through as to how it can look in terms of on stage. You know, it's something to consider as well.
Yeah, we were talking about how someone might be coming up there. I'm showing this picture real quick. This is Margie Martin and Ashley Jones.
Marvelous Margie, I love her.
Yeah. Now, Margie retired after this Olympia. Now, This is Ashley Jones. This was supposed to be Ashley's second Olympia, but she got sick for the 2021 Olympia. She couldn't compete in the show. But Ashley, she started out in figure, switched up to physique. She was on physique for a couple of years, and then she's just said she's gonna take a year off. She took this year off, and she's thinking going up to women's bodybuilding. Now you look at her and Margie. We were talking about, me and my friend talked about this earlier.
Margie's got just like such dense legs. Look at the difference in the legs.
Yeah, the quads. Her quads always been her. She has killer quads.
Yeah,
but you can see how more broader Ashley is in the shoulders.
I guess so. I guess.
Yeah, it's just slightly a bit, but she's still young, and Ashley is still developing. And Margie, great, amazing physique. I said she wants to take a step back from the sport, but it's just about the evolution, And if this girl is so close to someone like Margie, she's getting physique, doing physique. Now she's going to win bodybuilding. It's just where like I said, how we talk about how the visions are melding. Like how show you a picture of Sarah and Missy. Look at Margie and Ashley. And that time take to grow and develop. I think Sarah's like in her mid 30s, early 30s. I think same thing with Missy. They still are growing, still developing.
No, I agree. But it's never too late.
Well, it's too late for me.
But for the people watching that are bodybuilding, and for myself, I'm 40. It's never too late if you keep working hard and making all the right decisions and taking care of your body and training regularly. Then it's never too late. I think bodybuilding is a long game. So
yeah. It's not a race, it's a marathon.
Yeah, exactly. And that's really important.
Well, we got here, this is from a man, Lawrence Perkins. He says, I'll be drinking water every day. Well, I drink a bit. I should drink more, but sometimes water is boy. I like something with a little flavor to it. I might buy some kind of flavor water or something, or put lemon in it or something. A friend told me, like, do this. Get yourself a pitcher, put some lemon, some blueberries, some strawberries, put in your water. It's flavored water, not too much sugar in it, but every now and then I like something, sweet. I'm a sweet guy too. I like, especially, predisposed to being diabetic. But I'm doing good if I don't take too much sugar. But anyway, we're not gonna hold much too longer. We do appreciate your time because
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, man.
Go to sleep.
Yeah, because I know you had a long day. I know one thing people gotta remember: the process of bodybuilding is that everything you have to need to sleep. Like I know I talked to ladies saying that they lost friends because they can't go to, like, you might say, the pub. Can't go drink. You can't do this. You can't do that. I know one lady told me how she went to a wedding for a friend. She brought her own food. I know sometimes in the over in the States, in summer, we have 4th of July, which is our biggest holiday. It's a holiday when we seceded from Great Britain.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's just that sometimes you can't always enjoy those stuff, even when they're off season, and just they still have to follow. So like one lady, still like one lady said, hey, I'm just gonna sit eat my fish and my broccoli and my carrots and my chicken and this or that. And even though, hey, I'm not competing this year, hey, or I know some ladies who took a couple of years off, because one thing is that, again, bodybuilding is a expensive sport. Cost of travel, cost your suits, this and that. And one thing is that, even though I don't know if your organization does it, the PCA, one thing I think I like to see more is more help for the athletes, because you think about this.
It's amazing. In fact, the PCA this year, their British finals, if you qualify for the Worlds, which I have done before, and you're a pro, they're paying for all the Worlds are in Spain, and they're paying for all the flights for every single pro to go to Spain. So that's how much the PCA care about their athletes.
Yeah, I think,
and it's out there in America already. So spread the word. The Physical Culture Association.
Physical. If you're interested, check it out. But I think still some people are still like, I know one lady, she was competing in another organization, but she wanted to go to the Olympia, so she switched from that organization to whatever organization she was originally in, but she switched to the NPC because everybody wants to go to the big dance. The Olympia is the big show. It's even though
I think one day at some point the PCA will probably have a rival to the Olympia. So I would argue that the Olympia isn't what it used to be, and that there's chance for a change. So let's see.
Sorry,
that's okay.
Well, yeah, I know a few years ago, The Rock wanted to do something with the
That's right.
Yeah. Maybe it's because you know what? If the big fear was that his thing might rival the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic and the Olympia. But hey, like this, you got to think about it. Arnold, we didn't know about bodybuilding either. It was Arnold or Lou Ferrigno. That's how people knew about bodybuilding between Conan Barbarian and Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
And guy like Rock, who trains like a bodybuilder, who's former wrestler, a superstar. His ex-wife competed in bodybuilding for a couple of years. She was a pro. I know a lady who actually competed the same show with her a few years ago. Mm-hmm. But if you can bring someone like that, you can bring attention. You think about it. Back in the day when I used to watch bodybuilding, you can catch it on like regular free television. Like NBC used to show it, ESPN used to show it, Fox Sports used to show it. But only time you can watch bodybuilders are either on, you can find some stuff on YouTube or the pay-per-views. But if it was more mainstream attention to it, whereas kind of like where if there was better like sponsorship, maybe some support, especially for the athletes, because as you know, we're the people who come see you, and and this is especially us guys and the family ladies. There's a small saying. It's true. It's something I heard years ago. I used to go to this chat room with guys who fans of bodybuilding. It was a female fan bodybuilding chat room, and this guy told me, said, "Hey kid, you're fan of bodybuilding?" I said, "Yeah." Well, you know the whole saying, "Real ladies rock hard, we'll rock hard." And it's just, if there could be more attention in sport, and people see it as a sport, respect it, give it opportunities, stop demonizing because the fact is, okay, this person taking this person taking that, but there's still mainstream sports. Like here in the States, it was a month ago, there was a whole, congressional committee for steroid use in baseball. But these guys are millionaires. If they want to use this, you say they're cheating. How are they cheating? It's not like it's the thing that helps them. Steroids only helps you in recovery. It helps you get stronger. Helps you survive hard workouts and injuries. It doesn't make you a better athlete. You still have to work.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. But it is a bit of a stigma around the sport, which is a shame. But I think the best that we can do is to try and like pique people's interest by explaining to them all about the training and what's involved, and about the big characters that have made it the history of what it is, and about the beauty and the art of posing, because that's what hooked my love of it in the first place, and that it is an art form and it's about celebrating your body, and everybody's version of beauty is their own. So that's why there's so many divisions, because some guys like to be 300-pound bodybuilders of mass, and other guys like to be men's physique and wear board shorts. And it's the same for the women. You get to express your beauty. And at the end of the day, bodybuilding's about everything that happens before the stage. Just like your off season is the most important part, because when you diet down, all you're going to do is reveal what you built in the off season. So actually, the time on stage is not the important time. It's all of the stuff that happened before it and in the lead up to it, and the consistencies that you do every day. That's what makes you a star on stage. So that's why bodybuilding is something that everybody can have in their life. They'd all benefit from the discipline that it gives them. And I think that's probably the message, that if you give that to the audience, it will make it become more popular, because people will realize that it is possible for them to be involved and even to compete in a small way on a small stage and improve their life.
Yes, you know what? That's very intelligent, articulate young lady for saying that. You know, I think that's one thing. I think one thing you can use is more sponsorship, especially for the competitors. I think if like this is what I say to you out there, you who follow these ladies, who are fan of these ladies, who are fan of these just generally these bodybuilders, period. Because like I said, I have interviewed guys in the sport. I got a guy who's me and him really cool. He's a men's men's physique competitor. His name is Sean. We're really cool. I talked to one guy whose wife is a competitor. One guy who's a competitor. You know, it's just you gotta respect these competitors. But if they can really use the backing of the fans and the people, like sponsorship would be good. Like this is what I say to anybody out there who is interested in sponsoring someone like the lovely Mrs. McVittie, her social media stuff in the description. Reach out in genuine interest. Don't be that weird guy that says, "Hey Holly, you're a pretty piece of fluff, you know." No, stop that. Stop that. Say, Miss McVittie, I would like to help you out. If you need anything from me in particular, let me know. I don't want to see nothing more than you as an athlete to progress and grow. So, like, if you need something, this or that, like, just simple little stuff. You know,
well, I would never say no. I think it'll be a lot easier if I get my pro card, because when you're a pro athlete, then you deserve to be paid for who you are. I have been approached by a bikini company. They very kindly offered to make me suits for free, but it wasn't the company that I wanted to work with. So I'm going to hold out for the one that I really like. But I think if you have you've got to have an amazing body as a bodybuilder. That's it, because that's what the sport is. But if you're actually intelligent, like Linda Murray, for example, and you can hold a conversation, then you're going to be able to represent the sport in the best light. So being sponsored means that you've got to have some personality and some knowledge of the sport as well, so that you can represent the sport in the best way and demonstrate it to others. So I would definitely be grateful for that.
Oh yeah, that would be good. You know, especially intelligent, articulate people. You know, people like everybody think you're a bodybuilder. You be like, I'm a bodybuilder. Like Sylvester Stallone. No, Sylvester Stallone once he wrote Rocky. I'm a big Rocky fan.
He's a very intelligent guy.
Yeah. You're like my favorite part is in Rocky Balboa. I never watched the whole movie, but I like that part where he says like, it's not matter how hard you can hit, it's not how much you can take the hits and keep moving forward. Keep going. Yeah. We got here from me. This is from Rolando G. Yes, very much fine. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's ex-wife Danny is a very lovely lady. Oh yeah. That's good. That's the mother of his daughter, who's now also following her father's footsteps. She's also a professional wrestler now. I think he has 3 daughters altogether, with his ex-wife and then I think with his current wife. But folks, like I said again, if you're interested in supporting Holly's path in the sport of bodybuilding, she's taking some time off to grow and develop it.
I'll be competing in October next year.
Okay, in the PCA. Her social media stuff in the description. Reach out in genuine interest, guys. Don't be that weird guy. No D-pics. Now, if you could change anything as an athlete, what would you like to see change in your mindset?
What would I change about my mindset?
No, about the mindset of bodybuilding. Where we like to see it go? Yeah, where do you want to see it go?
Honestly, and you won't like this because you're a fan of women's bodybuilding, but I think that they should reward femininity more, because some women are being forced to lose their hair and lose a lot of their femininity to be able to win in women's bodybuilding and women's physique now. I even know, pro women's bikini athletes that are taking some really strong stack of drugs. So actually, I think that the judges should reward muscle but retained femininity, and that will keep this sport. It will actually make it more mainstream, because women will be able to be women, but strong women, instead of needing to literally go so far that they are hardly women anymore. So I think that the judges should be rewarding muscle and femininity at the top level. and then the amateurs will be reflected in the classes and the categories. So that's something that I think needs to happen too, so that women can stay women, but be strong, beautiful women, but be able to keep their hair and their femininity at the same time.
Yeah, it's always the thing. The femininity thing. Me personally, I'm a person who's about the muscle. I do like the women who are very attractive, but I like the women who come in great condition, bringing great shape. But that thing is, that's the thing you might have to sacrifice it, especially. But the thing is, it is the judges. The judges have too much control. They're the ones who can halt it. You wouldn't have. What's the point? Was creating a division like physique when you turn around and the physique girls are going to win bodybuilding. Some women will say, like, I want to stay in physique because I want to stay on femininity. But if you look at like women, like, if you, I don't know if you follow, like people like Natalia Coelho. Like, I know a lady who met Natalia, and they live in, they both live in Florida. They met, they ran into, she knew for years how big she got. Then you talk about how you mentioned earlier how who was it you said? How certain women just going back. But the thing is, it's the judges.
Yeah.
They know what needs to be cut out. They keep changing it. Like, I'm talking to some ladies who do a show. They come in great condition, but they lose to a girl whose condition is off. Then turn around and then they win a show, but then it's just one judge would score them for coming in great condition, and then another would say, hey, too conditioned. It's just it needs to be a set line about where you put the situation about the pro thing. Well, when you put, like, I just one lady who interviewed a while back, she's got a pro card through technicality because the fact was that they didn't specifically put the rules down, but that was that of the officials. They need to set, if you feel like, okay, that women get too big, too harsh. There was a few years ago they did do that. There was 20% rule where women come in 20% lighter muscle, and then also put in weight classes in the pro level. But what happened was, after a while, they dropped that. They changed it because the athletes would just keep changing and growing and developing. It's just, they just need to set the guidelines. But if there's no set guidelines, and what's the point having a division where it's supposed to take a place of another division where all they do is just feeding that division?
Well, who the judges pick as the winner is them setting the guidelines. So when the judges pick a winner, they are setting the guideline for who everybody else will try to be like the next year. So if the judges pick the most masculine woman to be the winner, then next year all the other women will be looking to do that to be able to compete. So I love muscle too, and I think, for example, Linda Murray was absolutely beautiful because she was muscly and beautiful, and she didn't have to go to the lengths of losing too much of her hair, and she still maintained her femininity, and her posing had a beautiful feminine vibe. But if you're asking me what I would change, then the answer would be that the judges would reward femininity at the highest levels of female bodybuilding as well as muscle, because that would encourage all the other competitors to be able to do that too, and not have to push themselves so far to be taken seriously.
Yeah. But like I said, it's up to the judges. They have a lot of control. If they're going to reward women who don't fit the criteria of what they want, and if they're not going to, set the guidelines and stick with those guidelines, that's on them. All the athletes can do is just come in, put in the work, put in the time. That's all they can do. They're just pretty much just trying to do their best. But this thing is that if they would give the same guidelines as if the men can be allowed to go up to the next level and push it, then women should too. But the fact is, women are not men. Even though men and women were the same race, we're both humans, we're different species. Men, our purpose in life is to breed, build, and die. That's about it. Women, you are nurtured, you take care, you live longer because the fact is, you sometimes, back in the day, older women serve a purpose. When the older men get old, they would sit out in the cold to die. But life is changing. People are living longer now, and I think society still has not come to the idea of women with muscle. Even then, I took up a guy with muscle, but guys get a little more leeway compared to women. Like I said, I'm a fan of these ladies, and I love my talking with them. I know I'm getting some messages from some ladies that send me some stuff. So this morning I sent some funny stuff to them, and sometimes, especially when this sport gets to your mind, especially it affects your mind, body, and soul. You know, and sometimes I'll send little things like, "Oh, here's some little funny." Say, "Thank you, George, for saying that. I need that laugh." Or it's just the psychological part about sport. It really can be a drain on anybody. You can understand that. There's days where especially when you're hangry, and then this, and then you got women now in the sport who have kids and families, and that's a lot of weight to carry on yourself. It's not too many women now. I remember there was only maybe when I was watching bodybuilding, a handful of women like Denise, Diane Dennis, Krista Bach, a couple others who were moms. They had kids before they got beginning
My
bodybuilding.
client is competing in a week's time in women's bikini, and she's a mom of a 6-year-old. So I find her a daily inspiration. How she's a 1 week out and she's been preparing for this show, and she's got a 6-year-old, 7-year-old daughter. Really inspiring.
This one lady I've been talking to about, hoping to get you an interview with her. She just competed at the Tampa a while back. She was going to do the show in Pittsburgh, the Master Show, but she got sick. She's a mother of 5 sons.
Wow.
5 sons, and
inspiring. Women are amazing. So
because really, many body mom, because the responsibility of taking children mostly is on the my mother had to take care of us, but because her father lived on the other side of the country. But even the thing with steroids, I remember when somebody told me, bikini girls taking steroids. I'm like, wait a minute. I mean, I can stay as diuretics, but bikini girls taking steroids? I mean, like, but this is what somebody also even ballet dancers take steroids. If you look at some of the ballet dancers,
Wow.
some of them almost in condition like maybe a figure competitor, or even it's just. But the fact is, it's about those. Maybe, like I said, the sports are evolving, and when there's no set guidelines, when you have to compete with the next person. You're not just you are competing against yourself, but also competing against somebody else too. But it's not much you can do. This is here, but me and Rolando G, he just made this point here. He said this. Holly, wow, good point. Holly, yeah. Denise Rusowski, it's sad. Yeah, I remember Denise Rusowski, beautiful woman, amazing physique, but then. But here's the thing: is people always blaming Iris for change bodybuilding. Actually, you might say go back to Kim Zavetsky. That last Miss Olympia at 99, how huge she was. That's when they put in the guidelines in the 20%. You put the finger at Iris, but you gotta remember Kim Zavetsky, when she beat Linda, she was evolving. I feel like if Denise had stayed and came back, she probably would have beat Linda next year. Maybe not. But you can't put the blame on one person. It starts with this person, and then everything else is just, and that person try to play catch up with that person.
Well, and I'm saying it's the judges, because who the judges place first, they are saying represents the top of that class, and everybody else will strive to be like that person. It's the judges that choose. So if they choose someone that's more feminine and still well muscled and greatly conditioned, then they are setting the standard. So the judges get to decide. So it's for them to make that choice, and everybody will follow that. So it's up to the judges.
Yeah. Well, when your last show, before we go out, what was the critique the judges gave you at your last show?
Actually, in the Jersey qualifier in 2023, he said I was a perfect example of athletic figure, which is the PCA class that I do. But at the British finals, which is really huge, you have a lot of people there. I just lacked muscularity. I came third at the British finals. I just lacked muscularity compared to second and first. So I needed particularly more back development. So I'm working really hard on that. And obviously my legs, they were really good last year, but I want to make sure they're even better. So more muscularity, which is why I'm taking a year off. Guys and girls, don't be afraid to take a year off to grow, because you will benefit then when you do diet. You'll actually have something to show for it. So that was my conditioning was really good. I just needed more muscle.
Yeah, I know the back can make a break how you place in a show. I know some women who have one. Yeah, I think it's one example. Susan Vasic. I follow her. I'm a fan of hers. Her back has won her shows. This year I don't know. I got a bet with a friend of mine. We're betting that Teresa might make the Olympia. Actually, I'm betting she might make it. But if I don't, then I lose $20.
Who?
Susan Vasic.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, I'll send you her IG and you can check it out.
Okay.
Yeah, she's probably more than popular. She's been on to Olympia quite a few times. Her back, just one of those back. I think her Ivy Rain. I mean, I mean, I've seen, you know, she said Evie would never say she, well, it's Evie. I say I use Evie. I'm from the South, we say things differently. But, you know, she said she'll never go up to women's bodybuilding because she's fine in women's physique. I understand that. But when you get to the point where you start looking, you know, one thing is her legs is not as developed compared to some of the ladies. I mean, I've seen some ladies who have, there's one lady I was talking about, Shirley, her name is Emily Sherbert. She's a physique competitor. She has legs like a female bodybuilder. I mean, I won't say she's at the same arena with Margie, but still, she's getting close. So, folks, I'd like to thank y'all for coming through. Like I thank Lynn, Matthew, Rolando G, Bulls Deep, Lawrence Perkins, you know, for y'all for coming through here.
Yeah.
And sharing, talking, subscribe, follow us on social media. Check out, you know, Holly. Wish her best of luck for next year. I hope she does well. Maybe in the future we can maybe come into the dark side to the NPC.
Ooh, who knows? Who knows? You wait. You need to watch and see how the PCA grows, guys. Check it out at PCA Official. Check it out because it's in America already.
Yeah, check out the PCA. If there are any, like I said, you got a link or something I could probably share because you know what
Well, the handle is at PCA Official.
Okay, so PCA Official. You know, check it out. You know, because like I said, you know, it's good to find out. Like, for a long time, I mostly followed NPC and IFBB, but now I'm doing like a while back. One of my favorite wrestlers, female wrestlers, Bianca Belair. She's competed in a show, the WBB FFF, got a pro card there.
Yeah.
One of my other favorite wrestlers, Jordan Grace, just did amateur show some time ago. I hope she does a national qualifier. Maybe she become a pro. You know, it's really spreading out bodybuilding. You know, we got here from your man Matthew. He says this. He says Holly is going to smash next year. Yeah, buddy.
Like staying this whole show as well. It's late.
Yeah, like a lot of comments say, yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, buddy. Lightweight.
Lightweight. Everybody wants to be out of here, but don't want to lift that heavy ass weight. So anyway, folks, again, I appreciate the lovely Miss Holly coming through, share a story.
Thank you so much for choosing me. I'm really honored. I really appreciate you giving me.
Don't ever say thank you because this is my thing, and like I say this, I enjoy doing this. And when you say thank you, I like to say this to you. I remember this from the end of Batman Begins. When Gary Oldman as Jim Gordon said to Christian Bale, you know, it says as Batman said, I forgot to thank you. And Batman turned around and says, you never have to.
Oh, I do actually remember that scene.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. I love the whole, my man came out here pick on me because, you know what, this is a funny thing. The other guy, wait a minute, he has to come out. Yeah, Holly, you know, I really enjoyed talking with you because you complete me. You know, it's complete me. I was like, this is one of the few times he usually comes out 2 or 3 times. You really put a pressure on me, young lady. That don't bring the other guy. Yeah, I'm like, I usually bring the other guy in here. I mean, wow. I mean, maybe a couple of times, but you really put a pressure on me. I do what's the best for you. And so she's with the PCA, which is Physical Culture Association. That's it.
Physical Culture Association. That's it. PCA.
All right. Check it out. Follow it. You know, if there's athletes there who are interested, like I said, I'm trying to spare my content, especially in bodybuilding. You know,
may I give a shout out to Sheila Blake, top posing coach.
Yeah.
Posing and choreography, Sheila Blake. There is nobody better. And I have worked with Kenny Wallach. I have worked with other people. She is the best. She's the one to use.
Well, thank you. Because, you know, I was going to ask you who you want to shout out because I'm about to figure that. But shout out to Sheila Blake. Big fan of her. Great, beautiful physique, classic lines. You know, just, you know, there's times where I'm gonna say this, I'm a muscle person smoke. And, you know, many times I had, you know, but that's just out of the point. That's out of the point. Okay, TMI. But anyway, folks, we'd like to thank again Matthew coming through, man, Rolando G, Lawrence Perkins, Balls Deep, Lynn. All you who will follow my channel, subscribe, follow, comment, share, subscribe to either one of us. Check us out. Support these ladies in the sport about it. Support these men, but all these athletes, because you know what? This is a tough sport. You know, it's physically tough, it's mentally tough, it's financially tough. And like I said again, if you're someone out there who is maybe interested in promoting someone like Holly, who's interested in maybe sponsoring any of these athletes out there, reach out in genuine interest. Don't be that weird guy. Don't send D pics. I know you think your shit's a shit, but it's not. No one wants to say that. No one wants to see something look like a thumb or a turkey neck. No. Just be genuine and interested in these ladies hit their goals and make it. If you can do that, that will make you a real hero. So anyway, folks, I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you again, Holly. I hope everything goes well with you in your next year. If you want to ever come back on here and just shoot the shit, you're a welcome guest. Like I said again, thank everybody else out there. Good luck to y'all. It's Wednesday, folks, and like I said again, this is your man always yours page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk. Don't like, subscribe. I'm out. Have a good rest of your week.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.